There's a small space in your home that decides more than you think. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't even need to be fancy. But every single day, it speaks for you before you ever say a word. It's your front door. And what it whispers is either welcome or please don't stay. Most of us don't give this spot much attention. We come in, drop our bags, step over shoes, toss keys onto cluttered tables. It's routine, it's habit. But here's the truth most people miss. Your entryway sets the tone not just for your home, but for your energy, your focus, even your finances. If something feels off lately, if your days start heavy, if peace feels like a visitor instead of a resident, this might be the place to look. Now, I'm not saying your front door holds all the answers, but I am saying it holds clues. Because when energy can't enter freely, it doesn't flow inside. And when it doesn't flow inside, it doesn't reach you. One blocked pathway, one dim corner, one pile of, "I'll deal with it later." That's all it takes for the atmosphere to shift from grounded to stuck. And no, this isn't about being perfect. This isn't about redecorating or buying expensive crystals. It's about awareness. It's about noticing how that corner makes you feel. It's about creating space not just for others to come in, but for your own well-being to rise. You deserve a doorway that lifts you, that opens wide to light, ease, and the kind of quiet clarity we forget to ask for. And the best part, you can start fixing it today. Gently, simply, with things you already have. So let's take a closer look not just at your entryway, but at what it might be holding back. 4 common entryway mistakes and simple fixes. Mistake 1: a blocked, narrow entry. You may not notice it at first. Most people don't. The front door opens, you step inside, and within seconds, you're already in the next room. But something subtle happens in that very first step, and over time, it builds. It builds into cluttered mornings, restless evenings, and a strange heaviness that doesn't quite go away. And the source? It could be that narrow, overstuffed entryway you haven't looked at twice. The entry of a home should breathe. It should invite, receive, and open up to what's next. But when it's packed wall to wall with shoes, coats, delivery boxes, and keys scattered like afterthoughts, the space becomes tight. Not just physically but energetically. What should feel like a welcome becomes a squeeze. And here's the deeper truth: your nervous system feels it before you do. That little tension in your shoulders when you walk in. The quiet sigh. The "I'll deal with it later" thought you've repeated 100 times. It all begins here. Now let's be honest. In American homes, especially older ones or apartments, the front entry isn't always a grand foyer. Sometimes it's just a few square feet, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. In fact, when space is small, flow matters more. Imagine a narrow stream trying to carry fresh water, but it's blocked with stones and fallen branches. That's your energy at the door. It wants to come in, it's trying, but it keeps tripping over the clutter you've stopped seeing. Let's paint the picture clearly. Maybe there's a shoe rack that's been slowly growing into a mountain. Maybe the coat hooks are so full they droop. Maybe the welcome mat hasn't been cleaned in months, and the corners curl with dust. Or maybe, like in so many homes, there's just a little too much of everything, and no clear path to anything. The result: a home that feels tighter than it is. A mood that drops without explanation. A subtle resistance to being still, to being present, to being home. This isn't about judging yourself. It's not about being perfect or minimalist, or suddenly transforming your space into a magazine cover. This is about awareness. About noticing how your home speaks to you and how you've been replying. Because whether you believe in energy or not, you know the difference between a space that welcomes and one that repels. You've felt it in other people's homes. And right now, yours might be quietly saying, there's no room for you to land. So what can you do? Start small. Start with space. The very first step is clearing the path. Make sure you can open your front door all the way without bumping into anything. Stand there. Look down. If your eyes hit clutter before they hit light, pause. Ask yourself, what here is tired? What here doesn't serve me anymore? Let go of what you've outgrown. It doesn't need to be a big dramatic purge, just one less thing in the way. If there's furniture there, ask if it's helping. Does that side table hold what you need, or just what you forgot to throw out? Do you walk around it every day, or into it by mistake? Sometimes, the best design decision is subtraction. Let air and light fill in the blank. Let the space breathe for the first time in months. Lighting matters too. A blocked entry is not just about stuff, it's about feeling. And nothing says you're not welcome like walking into a dim, forgotten corner. If your entry light is cold, flickering, or simply not turned on, change that. Use warm tones, amber, soft gold. Let it mimic sunrise, not office glare. You're not entering a transaction, you're entering sanctuary. As you make these changes, notice how your body responds. You might find yourself standing there longer for no reason at all. You might feel a little calmer when you lock the door. You might smile when you walk in, just because nothing's in your way. These aren't coincidences. They're quiet confirmations that energy is moving again, that your home is ready to hold you, not trip you up. This also has ripple effects. An open entryway doesn't just change your mood, it changes your relationship with your home. You begin to expect ease. You begin to make room for it in other corners of your life. You may find that conversations feel lighter, that cooking dinner feels less like a chore, that even your sleep deepens, simply because your nervous system finally has a place to land when you walk through that door. And yes, over time, people notice. Guests feel more welcome, friends stay longer, even opportunities, calls, messages, unexpected gifts seem to show up more often. Why? Because you've removed friction. You've told the world there's room for more here, and maybe that's the point. A blocked entry says, not now. A clear one says, I'm ready. So look again. Step back from that front door and ask, is this the first impression I want to give myself every day? Does this space feel like arrival or avoidance? The answer is waiting at your feet. Mistake 2: no light or the wrong light. There's a kind of heaviness that settles in without warning. You walk into your home, the door clicks shut behind you, and suddenly the air feels thick. Not because something bad happened, just because something's missing. It's not loud. It doesn't demand attention, but it lingers. And more often than not, the cause isn't the couch, the clutter, or the mood. It's the light or the lack of it. Lighting, especially at the front of your home, is one of the most overlooked elements of peace. We forget it matters until we feel its absence. A dim bulb, a shadowy hallway, a cold, bluish glow that makes everything feel sterile instead of warm. These are small things. But small things shape how we feel. They shape how we arrive. The front entry is where your home speaks its first sentence. And when it speaks in darkness, it sends a message you might not realize you've absorbed. Not now. Not yet. Something's off. Most of us don't pause to decode these signals. But we feel them. The hesitation, the low mood, the way you walk in and instantly turn away from the space instead of into it. In American homes, whether it's a suburban ranch, a high-rise apartment, or a cozy cabin, lighting is often treated as an afterthought. There's a builder-grade bulb in the ceiling, maybe a motion sensor outside, a switch you flip without thinking. But ask yourself this: when was the last time your front door felt like a place to arrive? Not just pass through, but truly arrive. If the answer is not lately, you're not alone, and you're not stuck. You just need to invite the right kind of light. Let's talk about what that means. Because not all light is the same. Harsh white LEDs may brighten a space, but they rarely warm it. Fluorescence glare. Blue tinted bulbs energize, but not in a comforting way. And worst of all is no light at all. A burned out porch bulb. A hallway you never turn on. These conditions create subtle signals of neglect, not because you don't care, but because the light isn't helping you feel home. Now, here's what happens energetically. In spaces without enough light, especially natural or warm light, energy hesitates. Movement slows. That flow you want to feel when you open the door gets stuck, unsure of where to go. It's like walking into a room where no one looks up. There's no welcome, just silence. Light is how energy says, this is safe, This is alive, you belong here. And when you light your entry well, you're not just making it prettier, you're making it receptive. You're telling the day, the world, the possibilities, I'm home. I'm ready. I'm open. So what does this look like in practice? It starts with softness. Think of warm bulbs around 2700K to 3000K that cast a golden hue, not a blue one. Think of dimmable options if you want to adjust with the seasons. Add a sconce or a floor lamp with a fabric shade to diffuse the light gently. Place the bulb slightly lower than eye level. If you can, so light wraps around you, not down at you. If your front door opens directly into a hallway, consider lighting the floor, not just the ceiling. Use LED strips along baseboards or a small lamp on a side table. You're not trying to flood the space, you're trying to guide it, like a path in the woods lit by lanterns instead of stadium lights. Gentle, subtle, present, and don't forget natural light. If there's a window by your door, open the curtains during the day. Clean the glass so sunlight can find its way in. If there's no window, add a mirror to reflect any available light and expand the space visually. Mirrors near the front door, when used intentionally, aren't just decorative, they're directional. They give energy a place to move. Now, let's talk feeling. Because this isn't just about brightness, it's about emotion. The right lighting calms the breath. It softens your face. It makes walking into your home feel like a return, not an interruption. If your front door is too dark, your body tenses without realizing it. If it's too harsh, your mind stays alert when it should be exhaling. Your home should help you exhale. Here's a small practice. Tonight, before bed, turn on just the entry light. Stand in the doorway. Notice what it feels like to come home to that single glow. Does it feel cold? Does it feel sharp? Or does it hold you like a quiet welcome? If it doesn't feel right, change it. Even just one bulb can shift how you experience your entire home. And here's the beauty of it, all this change is simple, inexpensive, immediate. It doesn't require renovations or time-consuming projects. You can swap a bulb. You can wipe a fixture. You can choose to turn the light on before you walk through the door, not after. That tiny moment of intention creates a ripple. And over time, that ripple feels like calm, like ease, like belonging. Because the truth is, you deserve to walk into your home and feel seen, not by anyone else, but by the space itself. Light helps make that happen, not just for guests, not for appearances, for you, because you matter, your arrival matters, your energy matters. And it all begins with what you let shine. Mistake 3: lingering smells and dust. Some things leave without a trace, others linger. You walk into your home, and even before you take off your shoes, something wraps around you. Maybe it's the smell of last night's dinner. Maybe a faint mustiness near the door, or a whiff of something you can't quite name. And just like that, your energy dips. Not because the day was bad, but because the house feels stale. Something in the air says nothing's moved here in a while. We often think of smells as background noise, neutral, harmless, easy to ignore. But your body knows otherwise. Scent is memory. Scent is mood. Scent is the first signal your nervous system receives when you come home. And if that signal is old, dusty, or off, it sets a tone that carries far beyond the threshold. You might not notice it every time, but over weeks, months, it stacks. Into heaviness. Into avoidance. Into that quiet feeling of, I just don't feel good in here anymore. This is especially true at the entryway. It's the gateway of your home, the place where inside meets outside. If it holds on to the past through lingering odors, damp air, or untouched dust, it becomes a bottleneck. Energy hesitates, flow breaks, and instead of feeling fresh, your home feels like a place where things accumulate but rarely leave. Let's be honest. We all have a space like that. A stack of old shoes by the door. A forgotten bag with last winter's scarf still inside. A box of donations that's been almost ready to go for 6 months. These objects don't just take up space, they hold scent. They hold memory. And they subtly change how you relate to your space. You start walking faster through the entry. You stop pausing there. You avoid eye contact with that dusty corner you keep meaning to clean. But avoidance doesn't reset energy. Attention does. Dust, especially near the front of the home, isn't just about housekeeping. It's about stillness without awareness. It's about letting something stay long after it's served its purpose. And when dust settles, so does energy. So does mood. So does momentum. The house begins to feel stuck because it is. And smell. Smell is even more powerful. A home that smells like cooking spices at 9 a.m., like damp fabric, or like plastic and cardboard tells a story. And if that story hasn't changed in a while, neither has the energy. It's not about being clean enough. It's about being clear. Fresh air isn't just pleasant, it's vital. When airflow is blocked, when scent is ignored, the entire energy system of the home becomes sluggish. And so do you. Here's the good news: this is one of the easiest fixes you can make, and one of the fastest you'll feel. Start with a moment of presence. Stand at your door. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly. What do you smell? Don't judge it. Just name it. Is it stale, acidic, like dust, detergent, old wood, like fabric that hasn't been moved in weeks? That awareness is the beginning of shift. Next, open the air. Let your home breathe. If the weather allows, open the front door for 10 minutes a day. Let air move through. You're not just airing out space, you're clearing energetic weight. And yes, it matters. Then touch the corners. Wipe the baseboards. Clean the welcome mat. Shake out the shoes. These aren't chores, they're rituals. Acts of saying, I'm awake to this space. Acts of release. Now, invite in scent that supports you. Not overwhelming sprays or synthetic perfumes, but natural, honest scent: lemon, pine, eucalyptus, clove. Scents that lift without forcing. Scents that belong to the earth and remind the body you're safe. You're home. You don't need to buy anything fancy. A bowl of baking soda with a few drops of essential oil can sit quietly by the door and shift the entire feel of the air. A few sprigs of rosemary or lavender hung by the entrance can greet you with gentleness instead of weight. These are small gestures, but they speak loudly. And don't forget, the act of refreshing scent is also the act of refreshing memory. It signals change. It tells your nervous system that something old has been cleared, that something new is allowed in. When your entry smells fresh, your mood lifts before you've even noticed why. And when it smells stagnant, so does your day. This is not about perfection. It's not about scrubbing until your house shines. It's about flow. About honoring the simple truth that your home breathes, and it needs to exhale, too. You might be surprised by what happens next. A lighter heart when you walk through the door. Less friction with others. A little more clarity. A little more kindness. Because when the air feels good, people do too. So ask yourself gently, what has my home been holding on to in the air? What scent greets me at the door? And does it reflect how I want to feel when I come back to myself? You don't have to change everything. Just let a little more breath in. Mistake 4: no gentle invitation at the door. Some doors open easily, but you don't feel invited. You turn the knob, step inside, and for a moment, there's a pause. Something is missing. It's not the space. It's not the furniture. It's the feeling, the quiet sense that this home wants you here. That it sees you, welcomes you, holds you. In many homes, that feeling never quite arrives. Not because the people are unkind. Not because the house is cold, but because the space forgot how to say, come in. And when your entryway lacks a gentle invitation, it quietly tells energy, connection, and peace to stay outside. This mistake is subtle. It hides in plain sight. And yet, its effects ripple through the rest of your home. Because, if the doorway, the space that stands between your life out there and your life in here, doesn't offer a moment of warmth, then the transition never really happens. You come in physically, yes, but part of you stays on guard, half present, half tired, not quite home. So what does gentle invitation mean? It's not a matter of style or trend. It's not about having the perfect wreath or the most expensive rug. It's about how space feels, how it greets, how it pauses, how it listens. It's about those first few feet that tell your nervous system, you can breathe now. That signal, silent, emotional, powerful, is what most homes forget to give. Walk through your front door and ask what greets you. Is there softness? Is there intention? Or is it a blank wall, a pile of shoes, a light that hasn't been turned on? Does anything draw you in with care? Does the space slow you down? Just for a second, so you can feel yourself arriving. In homes that feel good, really good, you'll often find a small, quiet detail that says "I see you." A mirror with soft light. A bowl where keys go instead of landing hard on the counter. A plant by the door, green and alive. A mat that's clean, simple, not begging for attention, but present. These things are not decoration, they're signals. They're emotional cues to the body, the mind, the energy around you. When there's nothing there, when the entry is bare, harsh, or forgotten, the opposite happens. The space feels abrupt. You close the door behind you, but you don't quite arrive. The transition doesn't land. You move from task to task, from room to room, but something is missing. It's not drama, it's absence. And that absence affects how you rest, how you think, how you feel. Energetically, an empty or chaotic entry is like a sentence without punctuation. It leaves the energy hanging. There's no full stop, no welcome, just motion. And motion without pause is where burnout begins. But when you invite energy in gently, it stays longer. It softens. And so do you. The question becomes, what can I place here that doesn't just fill space, but holds space? Start simple. Choose one object that feels alive. A small table with rounded edges. A basket made of natural material. A ceramic dish that belonged to someone you love. These aren't just items, they're messengers. They speak on your behalf to everyone and everything that enters, including yourself. Lighting is key here too. Not the main light, the lamp. The one with a fabric shade that turns on with a soft click. The one that makes your entry feel like a warm breath, instead of a spotlight. If your lamp feels too bright, too blue, or too sharp, swap the bulb. Choose amber. Choose gold. Choose something that whispers instead of shouts. Color plays a quiet role as well. Cool grays, stark whites, or shadowy browns often mute the energy of a space. Soft greens, natural woods, muted terracottas, these colors don't demand attention. They hold it. They calm it. They invite pause, not performance. And don't forget scent. A drop of lavender oil near the entry. A diffuser tucked behind a basket. Something clean, not chemical. Something that reminds your body you're no longer out in the world, you're safe. Now let's go one layer deeper. Ask yourself, when was the last time you stood still at your own front door? Not because you forgot something, but because you wanted to feel that space. Not to clean it, not to decorate it, just to witness it. Most people can't remember. We move too fast. We pass through our homes the way we pass through airports, efficient, distracted, already thinking about the next thing. But your home, especially the part that first receives you, deserves more than that. It deserves presence. And so do you. That presence starts with care, with not just placing things, but placing meaning. A photo of a loved one, a stone from a beach you miss, a book whose spine is cracked from rereading. These small personal touches don't just make your entry look better, they make it feel like yours. When your entryway holds memory, light, and breath, it becomes a threshold in the truest sense. A place that marks where one part of life ends and another begins. And that ritual of crossing over day after day becomes healing in ways you can't always name. You don't need a huge space. You don't need money. You need intention. You need softness. You need something at the door that says, I made this for you, even if the you is just yourself, coming home from a long, ordinary day. Because you deserve to walk into a space that feels like a quiet exhale. A space that holds you, that sees you, that reminds you, you're not just inside, you're home. And that feeling, that real, rooted feeling of belonging begins not with grand gestures, but with the smallest, most gentle invitation. So tonight, leave one light on, clear one shelf, add one thing that feels like peace. And the next time you open the door, notice if your shoulders drop, just a little. If your breath deepens. If something invisible but real meets you there. Because when your home remembers how to say welcome, the world feels just a little softer and you, just a little more whole. Final. So now maybe take a moment. Not to judge your home. Not to fix anything just yet. but simply to see it, really see it for the space it is and the energy it carries. We've explored 4 small mistakes of blocked entry: the wrong light, lingering smells, and the absence of welcome. At first glance, they seem ordinary, harmless, but as you've felt through this journey, they shape more than your space. They shape how you arrive, how you settle, how you breathe. Science tells us that our environment affects our nervous system in seconds. That clutter triggers stress. That darkness signals caution. That scent activates memory more powerfully than sight or sound. This isn't theory, it's biology. And your home, especially the part you see first, either calms your system or quietly agitates it. That's why your front door matters. That's why the first 3 feet of your home are not just where you take your shoes off. They're where energy meets intention, where outside becomes inside, where the pace of the world softens and something sacred begins. But here's the most important part. You don't need a new house. You don't need perfect decor. You don't need hours of time or hundreds of dollars. You just need presence. A lamp that makes you exhale. A scent that feels like a memory you want to keep. A cleared path that tells your body, I belong here. Your entryway is not about design. It's about energy, about healing, about quietly reclaiming the tone of your life, one breath at a time. So, thank you for being here, for giving this part of your home and this part of yourself your attention. You didn't have to, but you did. And as you go back to your day, may your doorway meet you with softness. May your home hold you with care. And may you walk through it feeling just a little more steady, a little more seen, and a little more free. You are welcome here, always.